Hello everyone, it's CG, and let's talk about exotics and, in my opinion, a very good solution to a problem. Every now and then I make videos like this. It's easy going, kind of a podcast type format, talk about some Destiny, get some thoughts and some feedback, get a conversation going. So I was talking to my friend Rhodesy last night about Destiny, and the game is in a great spot. Honestly, it's one of the best spots it's ever been. It plays amazing, and Forsaken is the big time update that was needed, really. And as we're discussing it, we decided that right now the most important things are some of the quality of life changes for the player. The two main things right now are going to be masterwork cores, their overall system and how they're used, and as far as the cores, they are adding them to spider bounties, which is a really good start. Now the other one is going to be exotics. Here's my take on exotics. Finding these, playing for these is a big part of the game. I remember when I got my first Gallarhorn. I remember my first Fatebringer when it dropped. For me, as a player, someone who genuinely loves the game, these types of moments are needed. And they said with Forsaken, they want to bring that feeling back. And honestly, with the duplicates, the low drop rate, you get fired up when a new one drops. Now, I have 4 new ones. I got the Trinity Ghoul from a random night in the second counter of the raid, so I saw it on the ground, stopped, looked at the Ingram, kind of crossed my fingers, and at the bottom left of the screen it said, I am CoolGuy found the Trinity Ghoul. So not only me, but the 5 others in the raid, we all lost it. It's a really good feeling. Some of this gear is really good, some of it you really want, you're looking for it, and when you get it, it's an amazing feeling. It's up there with your, depending on the weapon and the gear type, it's up there with your first raid completion. You just remember it. It's a great memory, a fond memory of the game. And they're taking steps for exotics. They said that they're adjusting the exotic rewards to help reduce the number of duplicate drops. Players may still receive duplicates, but there's gonna be a better chance of the Forsaken exotics when receiving exotic rewards. So that's a start, but I do believe that these drops should be rare. I play a lot of Destiny, and as I said, I only have 4 of the new Forsaken exotics to drop. I have Lord of Wolves, Controverse Hold, the Warlock Phoenix chest piece, and the Trinity Ghoul. There's a lot of armor that I want, and I've had a lot of duplicates drop. Most players have had a lot of duplicates drop for them. The drop rates are so rare that when you get a duplicate exotic, the feeling's like, well, that was my chance. I have to play X amount of hours to get another shot at it, or you feel like that moment was kind of wasted. So this is the slippery slope. At the start of Destiny 2, the floodgates were open on the exotics. I spoke to you guys about my Gallarhorn, my Fatebringer, and I'm sure that you guys have stories and memories as well of that, awesome feeling that you get when you get something that you want. But at the start of the game, it wasn't special to get an exotic. And to be honest, they came so frequent, I didn't have that moment. The only one I remember is going to be the Wardcliff Coil from Sloan on Titan. It was my first one. They were handed out in bunches, so I don't think that's the answer, and I don't want that to be the answer. 3 of coins definitely isn't the answer. So back to the conversation I had with my friend last night. I think that there's really an opportunity here. He brought it up and we started building on it. They've laid a great foundation for Destiny 2 with the Forsaken update. We have lore in the game, collections, triumphs, all that is amazing. Now the second part is more quest style rewards, and personally I love these. I love these objective based quests. Go in, get X amount of kills with this, or X amount of solar kills. I believe that's not only good for the player, but good for the game. It extends and pours into other aspects of the game. It shakes things up, which is really great for the game. Like in comp, right now there's a lot of hand cannons. There's a lot of hand cannons in comp, and there will be the entire season because everyone wants the Luna's Howl. That quest is so long that players start it at different times. They do it at different speeds. Therefore, the entire season is going to be kind of fresh. Same with the broadsword. Pulses are always going to be used. People are going to be trying to get that broadsword quest done throughout the entire season. It affects the meta, it affects the randomness of loadouts that you go against in the game. But let's think about this. Let's put our thinking caps on and really think about this process. Say the Truth comes to Destiny 2, and that's one of my all-time favorite rocket launchers from Destiny 1, actually one of my all-time favorite exotics. I love the thing. But let's say Truth is a bounty / pursuit tied to Gambit. Say it was a longer quest to do than, let's say, Ace of Spades, but not as long as Luna's Howl or Broadsword. Say the quest wanted you to do various things with heavy weapons in Gambit. Maybe a step is get 300 kills with rocket launchers in Gambit to the enemies. Get 30 kills with rocket launchers to invaders or while you're invading. Then get 50 kills with grenade launchers. Get 100 void heavy kills. Now don't get really hung up on my specific examples, I'm just kind of showing the process here. But everyone together now, say it with me. What's the issue in Gambit right now? What's the number one thing everyone playing Gambit is talking about? That is correct. The sleeper sim. If you have a quest like this, it's kind of like comp with a hand cannon. It takes the sleeper out of players' hands, and sure, players will use it, but even if you nerf it to only having 2 rounds, if you nerf its aim assist, the sleeper is still going to be used regardless of what you do. Say you do have this random truth quest, it's still going to be used, but players will want that truth. Players will have a rocket launcher equipped most of the time. They're going to need void kills, so the tractor cannon might be on, or wait for it, getting that edge transit some use. And then when you get the truth, you want to use it. So something like this is kind of a gift that keeps on giving, if that makes sense, because players will start and do that quest at different speeds. Therefore, throughout the entire season, you're going to see it at different times. It would get to the point that most of the time, you're going to see rockets and different various loadouts that the quest wants you to do. And that depends on how they do these steps, making players use rockets, grenade launchers, linear fusions. It really spices up the gameplay. And if that quest dropped today, as we're doing this video right now, for the most part, you're not really going to see Sleeper Sim anymore. You'll see it every now and then, but people are going to want the truth, and guess what? The rocket launcher's coming on. So that's just kind of a dynamic to get around certain things, right? I mean, that's just a suggestion. But that brings me back to exotics and what I propose. Again, the exact specifics, the examples I give are thrown to show the process. They could be just different things, but you're just going to kind of get the point. It all started with a question that was asked last night. You know, what's Xur really good for anymore? Because the Ingram he gives is for older exotics. He doesn't give anything new. Now, the answer to that, I mean, honestly, is players still need Xur. Players still need him. A lot of you out there are Destiny vets, you have all the exotics, and you're looking for some of the new Forsaken ones or new ones. But there are still a lot of new players, and the players can only play X amount of time. Those players need Xur, and considering this new exotic drop rate, if you're having issues now as a Destiny vet, think about a new player. And that new player has a much larger loot pool, so everything's new to them, and they get it at a way lesser chance, way less frequently than you did in year one. So Xur still needed. So what I propose is that an NPC, Xur, Rahul, Zavala, Saladin, Mana Holiday, someone gives an exotic quest, and this quest has various objectives tied to it. Again, this is the part where we don't necessarily kind of hone in on the specifics, but just show the process. So say it's do 10 strikes. Next part of the quest, play 25 Crucible games, then get 100 solar kills, 100 Void, then 100 Arc, get 50 Pulse Rifle kills in the Crucible, bank 35 motes in Gambit, get over 100,000 score in a Nightfall, and so on. Just different steps going on and on and on. The quest needs, again, to be long enough that it can't be blown through in a day, but not long enough like a Luna's Howl, or not strenuous on the player, something like we had with Faction Rallies. We have to go do a whole bunch of lost textures, because that's just not fun. Right in a sweet spot that takes maybe 5-6 hours in-game time for the week, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. Again, those are specifics that we don't really care about, just the process. But at the end of it, you turn it in and you get a guaranteed non-duplicate exotic. When you break it down, look at it from the outside looking in, not to mention the chances that you get few and far in between during the week with your powerful Ingrams for exotics, it gives the player a feeling of accomplishment. Really, you do this quest, you get rewarded. There's no, oh, I earned my Suros regime. I don't know if you guys remember that, which was, oh, you know, Xur just gave it to you. It's one of those, well, I just took the long route to the Suros. I did my quest and it gave it to me, right? It will change the pace and gameplay of certain modes due to the speed in which players do the quest. So say, again, a part wants you to have 50 kills with scout rifles in Crucible. The entire week, you're going to see scouts in the Crucible, which you don't really see scouts right now. So that kind of keeps the game fresh. It keeps the meta off balance. It means more variety in the game every time you load into a match in PvP. Not to mention the loadouts you can or potentially could use in either Gambit and Strikes, doing Nightfall specific things. And at the end, the player is rewarded, and I think that's good for the overall health of the game, good for the player. The next question is the frequency in which this should happen. There are 3 options that come to mind. Number 1 is Xur has the quest, called something like the Nine's Will. It gives Xur a big roll again, you could pick it up, and they could even put a price on it, 50,000 Glimmer, kind of like the Faction Rally reward if you weren't with the faction, or it could be 100 shards, whatever it is. You get the quest, you do it, and then there's 2 options again. When you complete it, you just turn it in and get the exotic, or you complete it, have it in your inventory, and turn it back into Xur the following week. Number 2 is to give it to an NPC at reset, Zavala, Holiday, Rahul, and Rahul actually makes the most sense, or give it to someone at the farm, gives us a chance to go back to the farm. Same thing, drops at reset just as your all other things are refreshed, such as your powerful gear, and you go about it that way. Now the third option is to do it monthly. Lord Saladin for Iron Banner could have this, or the better option is actually have Petra or the Queen during full curse week, like the 3rd week of the curse cycle, because things are crazy in the Destiny universe on the planets. Maybe they want us to go out and investigate. It could be called like Queen's Honor or the Queen's Crown, you get the point. But then the following question is, would Bungie even want to do that? Because when you look into the specifics, there are currently 18 or so Forsaken non-quest exotics. So if you did this weekly, all exotics that the new DLC has to offer would be acquired in about 4 months. Coincidentally, that goes with the season or DLC drops. Then the new Armory DLC would be here, and so on and so forth. But the game isn't necessarily about chasing exotics, but they're a big part of it. It gives a player a very good reward, an achievement, that little adrenaline boost of getting a new exotic. It's kind of a good thing. Again, a big problem is getting duplicate exotics, and this is going to be a surefire way to get a brand new one that you don't have, but it requires some things, some steps that it wants you to do as a player. We went over the positives of that. You know, it changes up the game, different aspects, because people will be doing the quests at different speeds, therefore making every single game possibly different. And these quests are a really good idea when there are issues, like again, we talked about truth in the sleeper sim. If they have a good reward and it's a long quest line, it kind of takes the sleeper sim out of the equation, it really does. But I would like to know your thoughts on this. Again, I don't think that upping the drop rate is the answer. I don't think 3 of coins is the answer. It never was. I think that this is a viable, great opportunity for the game on a number of levels, because players get an exotic, it changes the weekly makeup of games with weapon and loadout usage, and it really keeps it fresh. It's almost a perfect fit. But then again, I could be wrong. I could be way off. I would like to know your thoughts on this idea. Is it something that you'd be interested in doing? Do you think it would be a welcomed addition to Destiny 2? Let's talk about it, share it, get a conversation going. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.